and the good guy for 1994, Les White. Welcome, Wes. Mingle a little bit.
Next round's on you, Wes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we won't be eating for another 10 minutes. Let's say hi to Les for a minute. We're not going to eat for another 10 minutes or so. After 2 drinks. chicken you got. Jeff, and you're John. I'm going to mention it tonight. John and Jeff. Jeff, yeah, okay. John and Jeff. Okay. One camera. The shots are there too.
She wants me to come. Like, oh, where's that? Just sitting in the chair right there, flipped up in her mouth.
Tech directly?
I feel I went up the World Series.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? If someone can find Les White and his family, bring them up to the head table. Okay. Does anybody see Les White? Hey, Jim Maselli. Jim? Let's hope Les White doesn't run against you, that's all. Go ahead. all the formalities till after we eat. But tonight, normally I say grace, but with Lester, he bought his own reverend. So I'm going to ask the Reverend Stotts to stand up and offer grace. I think Reverend says we can all remain seated. Reverend? Yeah, fine.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious and loving God, we ask your presence with us in the love and the levity of this special occasion. And we ask your blessing especially on Les and his family, and give you thanks for all that he means to this community. Also give us your blessing, each person gathered here, and as we share together, may we be nourished by the presence of one another and the food we share to serve you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Everything else is going to be held till after we eat. Bon appetit. We have a small problem, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have your attention for 1 minute, please? We have a small problem. Les is such a bore that some of the guests are leaving already. So I thought before they... Okay. No, some of Les's grandchildren were going to leave because of the late hour and their age. So I thought I'd take this time to introduce Les's family and let the kids go home and let their grandfather let his hair down. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. I'm sorry. First of all, let me introduce the head table and then the chillers. I was saving this till afterwards, but let's do it now. Let me introduce the head table. First of all, I'm Harry Cunningham, and don't, seriously, no. why don't you applaud after all through? Because if I get more applause than Les does, it's embarrassing. I'm Harry Cunningham. With me is my beautiful bride of 36 years, Jo. Next to her is the good guy of the year 1994, Lester White. His wife Barbara. And on their left is a good guy from last year, Tom Pizzara, and his wife Carol. Almost forgot you outside. As this system works, by the way, the good guy last year becomes the chairman of the following year. So Tom will leave the head table this year, and next year it'll be up to Les to provide the festivities, set up the people, clean the dishes, and try to make ends meet with the money collected. But I'd like to introduce Les's family. Les has 3 daughters, as you know. Debbie Parker is here. Why don't you hold your applause also to all the families, so in case you favor one daughter over the other, they'll never know. Debbie Parker is here. Nancy and Russ Margaret, and Cindy and Mike Barcelos. They're right here. And all the grandchildren are Stephanie, Caitlin, Luke, Derek, and Karen. That's the entire family. I think it's a son-in-law, Mike, who's leaving. Him or his kids, I'm not sure who. He's staying, the kids are. And Les's brother and sister-in-law are here, Carl and Jeff Ruger. And Les's sister, Jackie. So I think Stephanie and Caitlin are going to leave us, so we bid them a bon voyage, and we'll take care of their grandfather quite well here tonight, I'm sure. Again, good afternoon. Bon appetit. Yeah, bon appetit.
Running away. I'm not going anywhere.
I said, why? Because you know Les? He said, no, because knowing what Les has done around town will be a very short night and I can make the hall again. So we have to be out here by 9:45. It's going to be a CYO dance tonight. So if you take your coffee cups and your dessert with you and meet outside, we'll continue the program. But seriously, there is another problem tonight. As you probably know, Les White was not the first choice this year. In fact, it's embarrassing to say he was third choice. There was only 3 candidates. The first fellow, a Ralph DeLuca, who was the winner of the Good Guy Award this year, had tickets for the 7th game for the Bruins in New Jersey. Like any hockey fan, he went down there anyway. We called the second fellow, was in fact a girl, Mary McLeod. She was the runner-up in the Good Guy voting, and she wanted to stay home and watch reruns of Gilligan's Island. So last Tuesday night, someone says it's Les White or nothing. So we had rented the hall, we thought we'd go ahead with it anyway. So I had 3 nights to find out what Les has done around town to warrant him being a good guy. Didn't take me long to find out nothing much. But we're a desperate group. I found out that what Les White did to merit his being up at this head table tonight is 4 things. They're not much, but what the hell. The first thing he did, that warrants him being a good guy, was in the 3rd grade in Vermont, he had perfect attendance.
Excuse me, Mr.
What?
I'm afraid I have to correct that. I've known that man for many years, and his mother told me he was always cut in school.
You mean he didn't have perfect attendance?
Party's
Well,
over.
the 3 reasons we have this. All kidding aside, we know he's been a good father and a good husband, very good to his children.
Excuse me, Mr. Cunningham. He used to beat us daily.
You know his daughter Cindy did what?
Yes. He used to beat us on a daily basis.
The 2 reasons that that's what's over. We know he's been very active in church and quite free with his money. We know that for a fact.
Mr. Cunningham.
Reverend Stotts, what?
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
The one reason Les White is here tonight, we know he paid his mortgage on time. Who are you?
I represent the former commercial bank.
Stop, I don't want to hear it anymore. Forget it. Not important. Not important. There must be someone out there who can say something nice about Les White. Let's try his son-in-law, Mike Barcelos.
Lester White was a great man. And he'll be sadly missed. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay. Goodness. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's the eulogy I prepared. He's still with us. Barbara, Nugent. We haven't shocked them yet, have we? All kidding aside, there will be no chance tonight that we're going to put all kidding aside. And I've been introduced as Mike Barcelos. I've lived in Wilmington for 36 years, but my more common moniker now is going to be Les White's son-in-law. And I guess I'll have to live with that. People will see me in the street and say, oh, there's Les White's son-in-law, instead of Mike Barcelos. But I'm just going to spend a few minutes trying to give you all a sense of what life at home with the family is like with Les. His daughters would have done this, but they'd be breaking up, and they'd set the old guy off crying. And you see, beneath that burly bear exterior is a sensitive gentleman. So if you need to fill your water glasses tonight, you just line them up, and you'll be filling them all. One of my first one-on-ones with Les, back when Cindy and I were dating, we had gone out with a bunch of friends. I was like 21 or 22. I came home on a Sunday. It was a Sunday morning, I think we went for brunch. And so we're watching the football game. Les was kind of quiet. And I sensed a tension in the air, so I tried to make conversation. I asked him about the game and so forth and so forth. I got one-word answers, another telltale sign that there was something wrong, because if Les wants to say something, he usually tells you. I acted like the perfect straight man in a comedy routine when I asked him if there was something wrong, and without much ado, he turned to me and said, yeah, there's something I want to tell you. I don't believe in premarital sex. Well, although somewhat taken back, I had to love the guy for his candor. Of course, I wasn't too happy with him 10 minutes later when he didn't tell me that the burner on his gas grill was on the fritz, and he gave me a short pair of matches to light it. I singed off my eyebrows. He has a way of getting his point across, and it's not usually subtle. dinner time at the Whites has Les at the head of the table, doling out portions of meat or whatever main dish Barbara's cooked, and then he draws attention by launching into a Byron Brimstone epitaph on one of the world's problems. Now you learn quickly, you either sit close to him and get your own food, because if you sit at the end of the table and you don't agree with him, you don't eat. As you can see by my finely toned figure, I either agree with him a lot or I've been sitting close to the main course. As I mentioned in my letter to the committee, Les has done a lot for our family in the way of helping to finish the upstairs of my house, finish the living room of Russ and Nancy's house, and many other fix-up jobs on snow blowers, water pipes, electric wires, furniture, whatever. I also mentioned that I had a secret weapon, which was to ply him with my two daughters, who are not here right now. I had to put them to bed, but he has a real hard time saying no to them. But I failed to tell him the real secret to getting Les over to help you out. You see, old El Loco Blanco is quite a Mexican food connoisseur. So what you gotta do is, now, watch this carefully. Get a can of salsa. You open that up, and if he's within a mile or so, his mouth will inexplicably start to water. Then you have to open a bag of chips. He'll hear that, even though he says he's got this ringing in his ears. He'll hear that. You open him up. Once he hears the chips snapping, you got him going in the right direction. Now you get him ready for the final beat. Here's where a little fly fishing experience and a good stock of scotch will go a long way. At first appearance, Les's large frame, full beard, deep voice, and serious demeanor may not depict the playful qualities that are a big part of this guy's personality. Barbara can attest to the many food fights he started at the dinner table when the kids were young. Pancakes flying at breakfast, spice cake flying at dinner dessert. And although he didn't want the kids jumping on the furniture, bellowing out, "This place isn't a gym, you know," he's the first one on the floor rolling around with the kids and now with the grandkids. The camping crowd can tell you about who the first kid is to break out the squirt guns. Yeah, Les. Just like when he organized the whole neighborhood on those hot summer nights for water fights long ago. Or about the time he went through the trouble of pretending he was out of the house. He climbed a ladder, went in through the upstairs window, came bounding down the stairs ever so gracefully in order to pull off a Halloween scare on his girls. He ended up ripping down the banister in the process. There's certainly a twinkle in the eye behind that serious appearance. I hope this all gives you an idea of the Les that the family sees and enjoys. But even though poking fun at the old bear is too easy because of his good nature, it's gotta stop now because I still have things I gotta get done over my house. I'll leave the rest of this easy part to the friends and the neighbors, who I'm sure will corner the market on comedy with what they've planned tonight. I'll close by taking a shot at the real hard part, and that is to try to successfully let you all know why Les is being honored tonight. As you all know, Les, through some way, he has been a part of your life, whether it be through joint participation on a committee, a board, an organization, a relation, or a friendship, although I think we can all call him a friend. What you may not know is why there are so many of all of you here. All the great people who have honored this town, have been honored with this town's gracious tribute, and who have put together this year's chapter, are inspirations to us all, with their dedication to and love of their fellow man. And I'd like you all to give a hand to this group that's here tonight, Harry Cunningham and the group in the back, table, put your hands together for the former good guys who do an awful lot, and Tom Pizarro, who do an awful lot for this town, and who put this whole night together every year. By honoring Les tonight, this committee has added to their ranks a man whose place among them was long overdue. I was just FedExed a letter today from Paul Songus. Dear Lester, please accept my sincere congratulations on the occasion of your being recognized by the town of Wilmington. Unfortunately, due to a prior commitment in Memphis, I cannot be there to express my own good wishes on your many accomplishments. All of us are very proud of your many accomplishments. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Paul. Just ask Paul Saunders. He did some work for SHARE, a drug rehab program with one of the founders and the corporate president, Les White. You can ask the woman who called Les, the founder and president of FISH, a community health program, to come over and literally chase down her delinquent children through her backyard to bring them to school. Or ask Jim Demas about Les's tenure on the Wilmington School Committee, how he cared about our kids' education, and now after all his kids are out of school, he's still involved as a member of a parents' advisory committee. You can talk to the Methodist Youth Group kids who enjoyed the many summers at Asbury Grove because of Les White, and the inner city kids he brought out to see what life in the country was like and what life at the White House was like, as he invited them to stay in his home. You might ask the kids who used the drop-in center Les organized and maintained in the 70s, the house that is now the Methodist parsonage. When a rock was thrown through a window at the center, Les didn't report the youth to the police. He brought him to his parents and arranged for him to pay off the damage repair bill, always a man of principle. The Habitat for Humanity people will tell you about the big old guy who can bang nails and lug lumber with the best of them, about how the people who have benefited from Helping Hands organization Les has started and runs. He runs his Astro van all over town to fix a leaky pipe or a screen door for those without the means or the money. He puts in time down at the recycling center when he's not collecting old bikes and dropping them off at a shop that repairs them and donates them to charity. Or trucking bread and food to local pantries from local bakeries. And Mike Starr of the Methodist congregation can certainly attest to the dedication of Les. He's kept the roof over their head intact, the septic system under the parking lot working, the toilets in the bathroom flushing, the water in the parsonage flowing where it's supposed to. The turkeys, spaghetti, ham, beans, all cooking for the fundraising suppers. The snow off of the walkways in the winter and the flowers in the spring blooming. He's taught Sunday school and been a part of almost every committee at one time or another. Ask his friends and family who they call when they need help building, moving, painting, wallpapering, or just someone to talk to. I told you this is the hard part, and I'm sure I missed a lot of things Les has done for others, for us. His family has always known the loving, caring man that is so dedicated and so driven. And I think this sweatshirt tells someone's story. It reads, God has put me on this earth to accomplish a certain number of things, and right now I'm so far behind, I'll never die. This comes with a price. And the rest of the story is, Les never joined the bowling league. He was never on a softball team or a basketball team, never had season tickets to the Sox or the Pats or the Celtics. He doesn't play golf, doesn't play tennis, and he doesn't play pool. He never had the time. His priorities were the love of his God, his family, and his fellow man. He is and always was fourth on that list. Apart from an occasional Stephen King or a science fiction novel, a couple of cross-country trips camping, and an occasional trip to a Mexican restaurant, Les doesn't have much time for himself. So that seems to be just fine with him. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a part of any of those other recreational activities. I'd be a hypocrite. I do them myself. I only mention it to exemplify the selfless contributions he made to our community over the years, and that is why there are so many of you here tonight. And Les White doesn't want this award. His rewards are the personal friendships and smiling faces he's helped to create. So tonight, let's do a toast, the first of many, to Les White. Enjoy yourself on this wonderful night of tribute you so richly deserve, Les. You can laugh with us, and you can cry with us, because you're amongst friends. And even though you'll now have the gifts and the tributes, and even a videotape to prove it, you always were and you always will be the greatest in our eyes.
Up back the ball. But Mike, I hate a name dropper. Mike Saunders, so what? We have our own Mike Saunders right here in this hall. He's our next speaker. What did I say? Paul's kid brother Mike and I are very I was about to introduce the rep for the town of Wilmington in the State House of Representatives, a man who is quick to show up, quick to participate. Though he's always been short on stature, he's now kind of short on girth. The rep for this district, Jim Maselli.
You know, you said it very well. I don't think Mike left anything else for the rest of us to say, but I'm never at a loss for words. And if Les is not going to the basketball games and the football games and the softball games, you certainly have made up for it, haven't you? Seriously, I wasn't surprised when I pulled in here this evening and saw this parking lot full. And those aren't just trite words or just words that somebody's reaching into a bag to bring out this evening. I've known Les for many, many years. You know, Paul Saugus may know him, but I know him also. And I knew about Fish, and I knew about Cher, and I think he left this town in the lurch when he dropped out of the political realm, because he was one of the finest school committee people we ever had. He did a marvelous job. He did. And I got involved many years ago with one of the ministers at the Methodist Church here in the community, Terry Thomason. I think that's where I first met Les. And as I said, this town had the benefit of all the good works that he's done locally. And I know too that when people had problems, he was the kind of individual you called and he got the job done, and he did it with little fanfare. And I also know that when I bumped into him at the Mullis and down at Huntley's Hardware, and most recently as I was trudging through Marcus Road and Oak Ridge Circle, going door to door, gathering some signatures, and I saw Les out in his front yard, he called me over. Never a man to mince words. You admire his integrity, and if he had something to say, as his son-in-law just said, he says it. And he said, are you people going to fool around with casino gambling? He said, let me tell you how I feel about it. And he told me. And I got the balance on that debate, and so far we haven't. But there's no guarantee that we won't. But seriously, well-deserved my wife was saying to me as I told her I was coming here tonight, you really picked, as you usually do, someone that a lot of folks don't read about who's just done an outstanding job for the community. And I'd like to present a couple of citations. And it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, could hereby know to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers sincerest congratulations to Les White in recognition of your being chosen to receive the prestigious 1994 Good Guy Award. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. And it's signed the 12th day of May, 1994, Charles Flaherty, Speaker of the House, James Vasselli, Assistant Majority Leader. And I have one more, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, William Weld, Governor, Arjo Paul Salucci, Lieutenant Governor. We have to balance it, folks. And Lester White, in honor of your receiving the 1994 Good Guy Award, which is deserving of recognition by all the citizens of Massachusetts. And it's signed, William Weld, Governor. And Les, I hope one of these days that we can recruit you back into the political process because the town needs you.
I don't know how many people remember the Jim Vasselli of old. When you mention a function like this, Jim would say, I'd take a whole table. That meant his wife would sit someplace else. They trimmed down. When I talked to my wife about Les wedding tonight, I said I'm going to have some problems being the MC this year. She said, why? I said in the past, people have been quite active in civic organizations, like Mike pointed out, Les isn't. Les puts roofs on houses for the poor. He feeds the hungry. My wife said, well, why is that a problem? I said, who am I going to get for speakers? Some little old woman whose roof he repaired? Some homeless person who he fed? Some shut-in whose window who he replaced? I said, I'm going to be faced with a lot of Les's friends who are going to be slow of wit, probably uncouth, inarticulate. And my wife said, no, that's not right. Well, I'm going to prove her wrong and introduce the next speaker, Mr. George Ross.
Where do I go from here? Good evening, friends, and welcome to the first meeting of the committee to save Wilmington from this good guy. What a turnout. This just proves the point. If you have a good cause, people will come. Before I forget, I have the results of the poll taken earlier tonight, and in response to the question, why are you here tonight, these were your 5 top answers. Number 5, nothing much happening. Number 4, this is my chance to be on local TV. Number 3, I love to see grown men cry. Number 2, I was duped into coming. I thought the award was going to someone else. And finally, number 1, I never liked Les, and this is my chance to get even. It's payback time. By the way, Les, I can tell you how these guys voted later. Speaking of friends, we have collected many cards and well wishes from people all over the country who want to be remembered. Most of these I've looked at earlier and they're really not fit to read, so we'll allow Les the privilege of you looking at them later tonight. We thought it would be appropriate, however, to read a few of these to show the high esteem in which this man is held. This letter from Plains, Georgia. Dear Les, Rosalind and I are pleased as punch to hear that you have been selected as the good guy for Wilmington, Massachusetts this year. Indeed, you are a credit to your community. On behalf of Habitat for Humanity, we are equally excited to hear the good news that the renovation project in Lowell has been completed 3 years too late. It's no wonder you and that Over the Hill gang of yours should have spent more time working than drinking coffee. But I guess that's what you get for volunteer help. But as a token of our appreciation, we are sending you a truckload of peanuts and whatever Billy Bear is left over for you and your nail-banging friends to enjoy. Happy hammering, Jimmy Carter. And this one from none other than the White House. Dear Les, first name basis, right? On behalf of all Americans, please accept my congratulations for being named the good guy of your hometown for 1994. I'm sure your family and friends are immensely proud of you. As I understand it, this award goes to someone who makes their community a better place to live. In your case, I'm told you spend your time fixing other people's problems, particularly in the areas of carpentry and plumbing, often at no cost. This is indeed great news and represents what America is all about. Since Hillary and I have been spending our time fixing America's problems, we have neglected to spend time on our own. We have a little water problem, which we would like you to fix. Given your success rate, we know you can make this go away. Please call 1-800-TROUBLE anytime. Your President, Bill Clinton. One more. And finally, from the state of Vermont, official business no less. To the Good Guy Committee, Wilmington, Massachusetts. Please add the state of Vermont to the list of those who are honoring our native son, Lester White, as the good guy for 1994. The Green Mountain State stands tall tonight. Surely our loss is Wilmington's gain. However, we understand that certain factions of your town would like Les to return home, and a move is afoot to indeed pay his expenses. To protect our beloved state, we are issuing an arrest-upon-sight warrant should he try to cross the border. Remember the old adage, Les, you can't go home again. Repeat this as often as necessary. Signed, the Secretary of Relocation for the state of Vermont. Behind every good guy, there is always a good gal. And in Barbara's case, that is certainly true. Matter of fact, the more I think about it, she's the one that we should be honoring tonight, not what's his name. So Barbara, from all your friends, we have a special gift for putting up with us all these years. But I suppose it would be proper to give Les a little something for his efforts. So Les, if you would, we have a little something for you to cry in your beer with.
Swiss Army knife. Hey. Nice. Save the paper for next year. That's fine. Yes, sir. Somebody just told. Yeah. White.
By the way, my son-in-law Danny told me when he was coming over tonight, he's seen that truck pull in, so we're all invited back to the Whites for beer and peanuts as soon as this affair is over. One final thing, on a very serious note, on behalf of all the friends, I want to say to Les, you have indeed made Wilmington a hell of a better place to be, and I'm proud of that. God bless you.
Thanks, George. 2 more speakers like you, we'll have to rent the hall for tomorrow night, too. Give a guy a break, he takes advantage. I've been instructed to read something now. A lot of things I do up here, I do under duress. This is one of them. Mr. Woodbury, I'm told to read this. And now we have a real treat for you. On a special release for tonight only, straight from their permanent engagement in Sing Sing prison. Please give a warm round of applause. It says it right here. To the Forever Bad, in parenthesis, which is their title, doing their own rendition of the Four Lads hit, Moments to Remember. Honest to God, it says that right here. Honest to God, they're going to do it right here. If anybody's too embarrassed to stay, they can leave right now. Not good. What the hell is Sergeant Mooney doing standing at the bar? Do something. This is getting entirely out of hand. All songers, singing groups. We'll add a little stability to the gathering tonight. Representing the town of Wilmington, from the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Jerry Duggan. Jerry? Jerry, following this act, is going to do some juggling and some magic tricks.
There was a parting message left by the representative that I should take note of, and that our master of ceremonies, he mentioned about somebody's girth, shut off half 100 himself, so I think that he deserves a little hand even though he's pushing the dessert down his face. Find my glasses, I have so many pockets here. I'm pleased to be here this evening representing the town of Wilmington, town manager, and the Board of Selectmen. I don't know if Les remembers, but we did have one conversation back a year or two ago at one of his volunteer positions at the recycling center. And I was just informed today, being a up-to-date town official, that Les is on the housing partnership that I was just informed, and I guess it's been on for about a few months anyway. But I'd like to present this ball to the 1994 good guy, Mr. Les White, to a real good guy. And it's from the Board of Selectmen, and I'll include the town of Wilmington also. I'd like to present this Revere Ball to Les. Thank you.
It was crowded up here. Now, how do we follow that? Sitting at the table has been fun with Les. He's moaned and groaned the entire meal. His first thought was, do I have to pay for all these meals? Then he has the audacity to say the meal, which I thought was excellent, was not as good as Barbara makes. Well, I know who he's kidding. I have to know something about this. I happen to have a friend in town whose child went to the women's school, only one lesson. And the child wasn't too swift. It's a 4-year school up there, and the child spent 6 years. They kind of, kept that a secret. I bumped into Les White and find out his wife has been there for 25. But him having the audacity to complain about this meal, saying, oh, Barbara does much better, my Barbara does this, my Barbara does that. I happen to know, in talking to the principal of Woburn Street School, that there's been one meal missing every day at the Woburn Street School for the last 25 years. And if Les is going to moan and groan, then the good guy committee's going to do something about that. And in case you're wondering what's on this plate, in the town crier, today is Thursday, no, that's right, chef salad with lettuce, carrot sticks, cheese, fruit cup, a cinnamon roll, and milk. Here, Les, this is better than the meal you have tonight, I'm sure. And speaking of Papa, the good guy committee not to be outdone, excuse me. We've been on stage already tonight, but Mrs. White, on behalf of the Good Guy Committee, we wish to present you this because we know behind every good guy there is a good woman, and you certainly fit that bill. Mrs. White, Barbara. It's amazing over the years when you talk about good guys, and Les being no exception, if he's doing all these activities, someone has to suffer a little bit. And I'm sure it's a wife that has the meals go uneaten, the kids who don't see their dad as often as the poor person who needs a roof on their house. So you have to really give the whole family credit. So it's not just a good guy we're on, it's kind of a good family. And on behalf of the Good Guy Committee, we welcome into our group all the Les White family. Many groups have been mentioned here tonight, and the next speakers are going to be Les's fortunate neighbors. These are the people of Marcus Road. Marcus Road, we all know, is kind of the dead end of Bloomington. If you overshoot from 62, you wind up in North Reading. You go left off 93 and you wind up in Marcus Road. If you go to Les's back door, you wind up in Woburn. So it's kind of the dead end of the town, and not the most desirable people live there. You're going to find out in a minute when they send a couple of their erstwhile reps up here to say something nice or less. The only thing they can say nice is we're moving, I think. But so the table back there has people that wouldn't tell me their names tonight. They're not making an effort to come to the podium. So I'm going to say moments to remember. I'll whistle until they get here. Here's one. This is Diane. Is Debbie coming up, Diane?
Yeah, Debbie's,
There's Debbie. Debbie and Diane.
Right.
Representing the Marcus Road Group, Debbie and Diane. Not to be confused with the Judds.
They make more money. You mentioned suffering. We're the suffering neighbors from Marcus Road. I'd like to ask how many of you have had to live with a saint for a neighbor. It's not easy. Some of us decided to get up a petition, and it reads as follows. Petition to cease and desist. We, the undersigned, request that Lester White cease and desist being a good guy within the neighborhood herein known as Marcus Road, for the following stated reasons. Setting a bad example to those who want to be left alone and don't want to get involved. Be it known by the following signatures that the undersigned wish all such good guy activity ended. Les, we'd like to present this to you. It is tongue-in-cheek, obviously. We've had the pleasure of being neighbors for a lot of years. It's easy to live with a saint.
No, there's a second half. I said I'd be the mouth because that's my biggest part. I just give the present.
This one has to be open, though. Les just said it's from his plumbing friend, and it's actually from Deb's mother, Nellie, who is one of our neighbors, one of the recipients. I think it's safe for me to say that. Nellie's shaking her head yes over there. There are many people in the town of Wilmington that have been beneficiaries of Les's good works. But certainly, one of the wonderful things on Marcus Road is that if you're a widow, you practically have to fight to see who's going to do the driveway for you. We've got a good neighborhood. Les has set a good example. Where's that Swiss Army knife?
You need a younger guy, Les?
Older widow. Les, do you think you could fix this for me? Sure, now.
Best wishes from the neighborhood.
The debris is mounting up here. The next speaker we're going to have tonight is going to be Reverend Stutz from the Methodist Church here in town. And I'm feeling embarrassed that you showed up, Reverend, really. This is at KSC Hall. And we told him that the recipient tonight was a Catholic and we get $25 off. So if you say you're up here speaking just as a friend, Reverend, it's fine. You'll save us $25. Reverend Stotts.
This is where you said I could preach, Harry?
I'll do the funny line, Jordan.
You know, I'm one of the few people that can tell Les to go to hell. I tell you, I was moved to tears when I heard the list was to be honored in this way, and I was moved to write a poem. It's called The Big White Bear. Listen, my children, and then you will hear about a big, grumpy, but lovable, fuzzy white bear. In our town, as you know, you will find his lair, though on any given day you could find him anywhere. Other folks will tell you about his activities galore that could make you ask, has he ever time to snore? But allow me, please, to focus on what for him is a favorite cave, where once in a while this fuzzy bear has even been known to behave. This strange behavior for a bear so very wild is because he hangs out with a den of other bears, quite mild. The species is known as United Methodisticus. Some gentle bears on Church Street who are often in the midst of us. Now in this den of church folk, Les is very much a papa bear. At meetings and work projects, you'll often find him there. The Methodist bears are organized, if nothing else, you see, into many little committees that keep them very busy. And in this den of busy church folk, Les has chaired quite a few of the groups. And on any day, you'll also find him there banging nails or fixing chili soups. As a bear, he is a lovable one and shows his concern in the church. He heads a group called Helping Hands to be sure that in the lurch, those in need are never left without church folk to come to their aid, from fixing a kitchen faucet to hefting a garden spade. And at the church, Les also chairs a group called the Trustees Board that takes care of the church building and grounds, which they care for the Lord. So if a toilet should, heaven forbid, decide to overflow, Les may be called to fix or mop, though it's very clear we know that such seems not to be a heavenly job, but Les seems not much to mind. The more he has to putter with and fix, well, to him, that's just fine. And this fuzzy bear, called the Big White, can often be seen as well, leading in worship or planning with a group that has as its task to dwell on how to expand our building for kids and wheelchair folk. Yet in the midst of all the planning and work, he always has time to joke. Of course, this bear can grumble and rant if someone says he can't have his way on an issue of principle or care that means a lot to that big bear. Yet most of us know that beneath his growl and his fuss, he's still a lovable cuss. For this cuddly bear has a faith that is strong, and for most it doesn't take long. To see for sure, it's a faith he tries to live with a willingness of himself to give. So for his church den, please allow me to say that though the white bear does have claws, yet he uses them the most to dig and to scratch and work with love for many a good cause. From his church camping group to housing and food for the poor, all that he does, it is clear, comes from a faith in God that he lives out, a faith that he holds dear. So now, my children, you've heard the story of the big white bear we love, but don't tell him. It'll go to his head, and then, instead, he'll want my job in our den. Amen.
Early it's time to set music back a few hundred years. We've just done the same for poetry.
That was our church choir.
And we thought the Catholic Church was in trouble. Moving right along, the next speaker representing the Habitat Humanity is Mr. Peter Sweeney.
Les, I had prepared a very long speech, but Jimmy Carter took care of it, he and Rosalind, so all I'm going to do is say that we're very grateful that you have been able to come to Lowell and move out of the town and into the city to help us to prepare first one house and now a second house for those people who are less fortunate than ourselves. And so on behalf of the Board of Directors, Habitat for Humanity of Greater Lowell, I want to present you with a certificate of appreciation. Thank you.
Why couldn't he be the pastor of your church? Yes, Reverend. By the way, we should take time out to mention, and I had it written right here in my notes, the TV crew tonight representing Channel 30, Don and Jeff. And for people new to the town of Wilmington, the Good Guys Not Award dinner is not shown live, but it is shown twice a day for the next year. Anytime you turn to the general station, see Gilligan's Island or the Jetsons, you instantly switch to the Wilmington channel and either get the Good Guy Award or the Good Reverend Stotts. No wonder people go to the movies more often. I can say this because I don't have to go to your service. Next, representing the aforementioned Over the Hill gang, whoever they may be, says right here, I have to say this. It's Bill Hooper, Ken Query, and Harry Cook. Notice they're dressing for the occasion. This ought to close the hall down.
It's my distinct pleasure to present Les with his official Over the Hill Gang supervisory shirt. As a word of explanation, particularly for the younger crowd, the expression over the hill denotes a certain age level. A while back, I asked a younger person what what they thought over the hill was. They said over 40. Well, to say the least, we are beyond that. Anyhow, and also to some people means past prime, but we won't discuss that either. But it does, with Les's direction, I think we do feel that we are getting our second wind, and sometimes.
We have a few tokens for Les from the Over the Hill gang.
First one is a whip. The one he's been using is getting old and it's starting to hurt a little more, so we thought we'd get a softer one for him. The second gift, he's decided that we should start doing some outside yard work, and we're sick of using his handsaw, so we thought we'd break down and buy him a chainsaw. The third gift and final gift is one that we know he'll really use. This is an indoor-outdoor day-night hammer. You can see the plug here. It also acts as a tester for fuses. If you plug the plug in and the fuse blows, you'll know it's good. Thank you.
Unless I'm talking. You'll have your turn. On the serious note tonight, the tickets for tonight on any Good Guy night is relatively inexpensive. The entertainment isn't much, that's for sure. But I thought that was an excellent meal tonight put out by George Kelly Catering. Also, I should have mentioned earlier, if people are from out of town and don't understand what the Good Guy is all about, some 27 years ago, a group of people felt there was a certain guy in town who stood out above the rest for good works. I know him personally. I'm very sorry he's not here tonight. Something kept him from being here, and I know we can rip him a little bit. But this was a man of extraordinary character, generosity, and I know myself, I bum money from him all the time for basketball, softball, church, anything else. Anytime he needed money, he went down to Rockville, give us small. In Rockville, they went down one night and said, this man, that's nice, let's do something for him. So they went down with a plaque, a group of people, and presented Rockville. At the restaurant, called him out of the kitchen and gave him an award, and that was the beginning of the Good Guy. So they didn't form a committee and said, let's find a good guy. They found a good guy and then formed a committee around him. He's not here tonight, but he was really a fine human being and a great credit. And if all the good guys that succeed him are half as good, we get a fine community. After they had Rocco, they went out and picked the next guy who was equally as good as Rocco, not quite as good as Les. It's a matter of choice. This is right across the street from Rocco's Ray McNamara, McNamara Tire. I have personally solicited more money from this man than I've earned in my life. And people are still doing it. But I thought what I'd do tonight, as you can see what Les has done, obviously a good guy, and there's no doubt about it, but we kid about the fact that we couldn't find a good guy, but in reading the letters from every year and just knowing people as we do, there's a jillion good guys out there. And it's very difficult each year to recognize one of them when you could recognize 20 and 30 of them. My mother always says it's too bad they couldn't have repeats. I said my mother, Urban Stotts has ruined this microphone. But there are a few of the good guys, the previous good guys here tonight. I'd like to just mention them, I like to stand, and also that the term good guy makes it seem like there is a gender to it, and there isn't, because we have good persons who we call good guys. Not you, Mrs. Sharp, and I wasn't talking about you.
Mrs. Sharp, I was Miss Sharp.
Miss Sharp, okay.
And he's a good guy.
The good guys. The
Can't
good
even
guys
remember
present
my
here
name.
tonight, if one will stop talking for a minute.
I can talk louder than you, Harry, without a microphone.
And longer. We have over here, why don't you just stand if you would, Lil Brown This here Bob DePalma's not here. No, why don't you hold it in pause? It'll be embarrassing if someone's drowned out and others not acknowledged. Bob DePalma's here. Understand, Bob, Lillian? Bob's wife, Judy, also recipients in the hospital tonight. We're sorry to hear. And she couldn't be with us. But why don't you stand if you would? But stay standing for a minute. Tom Bizzaro, a good guy from last year, is here. Larry Knoll, Paul Bova, the aforementioned Ray McNamara, Ivan the Terrible Palmer, with his squad of Ivan's Angels, he calls them. Irene, Brennan Sharp.
Irene Sharp Brennan?
It's written out here, he ordered it. Dick Duggan is here. Bob DePasquale isn't. Bob DePalma's name is here twice. Good one, Bob. Frank Sabaza, Jim Hatchie, and I don't think there's anybody else here present. Oh, I'm sorry. Coach, mathematics teacher, coach personified from Bloomington High School, Coach Frank Kelly. Oh! I'll be your favors here. I would stay up there. Long time no see. I didn't see you from the door. I don't think there's anybody else. But these are the core of the good people in town, ladies and gentlemen. That, along with all these out there, I'm sure there's a lot more good guys. These people have been recognized along with our latest one. Let's stand up. Criteria for being a good guy or not being able to be elected good guy is the fact you can't really be a politician. But since Les is a former politician and some of the people who have been good guys then go into politics, there's nothing we do about that. But a politician, in effect, cannot be elected. That's one of the rules. But mentioning the fact that Les served a tenure on the school committee, there are a couple of school committee members here tonight, and one of them would like to step to the podium. And this is Mrs. McMiniman. She's neither going to sing nor recite. But if we ruin music and poetry, can prose be far behind?
Les about 18 years ago. I don't know if everyone will remember, but at that time, we had a school board member who passed away, Dave Dingle, and there was an opening on the board, and nobody had also run the election, so we posted the job, and about 6 people applied, and we interviewed them all, and Les was the unanimous choice to come on the school board, and then he ran again for 2 more terms. Some people said those were the good old days in the school committee. We remember them well. I'm sure Les remembers some of those nights. At that time, there were 6 people on the board, and there were many a night that we had 3 to 3 votes, and there was no way we could break those ties. The meetings used to last till midnight and 1 in the morning. We used to have collective bargaining and mediation. People couldn't understand all the things that we had to go through. In fact, some people thought, and some people still do, that the school committee members get paid. Well, Les, the salary is the same as it was in 1976. Zippo. We came across quite a few characters in those days. Many of you remember some of these people. Walter Pierce. Walter's in sunny Florida now with that other guy from Wilmington that just left for Florida. Derek Little. Derek Little now works in a bank in Concord. We spent many a night with Walter and Derek. Carol Sager. Can you ever remember, Les, the night that she was elected assistant superintendent? Dr. Sager said to Walter Pierce, Walter, I know if you put my name in nomination, I have the votes to become assistant superintendent. And Walter, who was the A1 politician in town, said, no, you don't. And she said, yes, I do. So he said, I'll show you. So he put her name in as nomination for assistant superintendent. And as I said, we had 6 people on the vote, so whoever got 4 votes would become the assistant superintendent. Well, the vote went around the table, and Jay Tye abstained, which meant only 5 people were voting, which meant she only needed 3 votes, and she got 3 votes. And the reporter from the Lowell Sun said to me, "What happened?" And I said, "We just got ourselves a new assistant superintendent. And we thought Walter was going to have another heart attack." Another person we wonder where are they now, but the question's been answered. George Eisenberg, former principal of the high school, is with us tonight. Haven't seen George in a long time. Jerry Missel, former business manager, still around in education circles. We had many controversial issues at that time. One that I particularly remember was about maternity leave. And those of you who remember John Brooks felt women should not get paid maternity leave because he thought pregnancy was a voluntary condition. Another incident that happened on the board was the rocket that was expelled from Yavco. We never really found out who let that go, yet it hit all the papers last. Remember that? How about the time you were supposed to be the speaker at graduation and couldn't make it? You asked Jimmy Demas to take your place? It was raining cats and dogs, and Jimmy spoke so long that they started throwing things at him. Maybe those weren't such good old days. On a serious note, I feel Les in many ways has been a personal mentor for me, because even as after he left the school committee, I had several occasions to call him when I had to ask him for advice and for counsel on several issues. I remember once we were looking for a high school principal and things were just hectic and people were saying, "Let's put the names in the hat and let's pick somebody out." I just was beside myself, and I called Les and he gave me some advice. He said, "Stay calm, it'll all work out," and it did. And when we were having our superintendent search, and I called Les and called him again, and he always gave me the advice, "Hang in there, things will all turn out." And just as recent last year, when Wilmington was in the news quite a bit, I called Les and asked him for advice and said, "What do you think?" He said, "Hang in there, you're doing the right thing, it can't happen." You've been there for advice and counsel when I asked, and I thank you for listening whenever I called. I applaud you for all your good work for the entire Wilmington community, but especially for the time, effort, and commitment to the children of our town. You're still involved, as was mentioned previously, as a school council member at the Wildwood School, and who knows, you might run again for school committee next year. It's easier the second time around. On behalf of the Wilmington School Committee, Les, I'd like to present you with this plaque for your dedicated service to the children of Wilmington, a 1994 good guy, Mr. Lester White.
Thank you, Linda. Nice little walk down memory lane. You left out what happened in 1933, Linda. 40 years. Moving right along. Tonight, again, I'm reading as I'm told to read. Tonight they're going to present to Les White the first annual Wayne Huntley Award. Now, Wayne Huntley is the fellow owned Huntley Hardware, where Les spent some time. And I think Edgar Cook is going to, Harry Cook and his brother Edgar are both coming up to present the award. So if Harry's around, we're going to see the first annual Wayne Huntley. It's one of those t-shirts again.
I couldn't take it off.
Les, Wayne wanted to be here tonight, but he's off on a buying trip to buy fall merchandise. And so he has sent the following message. Born in Vermont, Les was raised and raised his family with those good old New England family values. He has passed his hard work to all 3 daughters. We know this because like Les, they all worked in this local hardware store. How many grandchildren can we employ? There are leaders, there are followers, then there is Les. Les is unique. Les belongs in a class of his own. He is a supplier. When there's a job to be done for his church, Les goes to his local hardware store to get what he needs. When there is a demand to be met for Habitat for Humanity, Les goes to his local hardware store to get what he needs. When a friend needs to do some fixing, Les goes with him to his local hardware store to get what he needs. And when that local hardware merchant needed tables and chairs for his children's Catholic Christians, Les supplied his Methodist tables and chairs. Les is truly Christian. Always, Les remains true to his New England values. That damn Yankees sure to get supplies at a price that is right. Tonight, we present you, Les, with a bill for all those supplies at their actual price. You now owe us $750,428 and change. Thank you, Les, for supplying us with your friendship, loyalty, hard work, and fine example of what it means to be a good guy. Sincerely, Wayne Huntley and family.
Thanks a million, Harry. Honest to God, it says here what I have to do next. This is Wayne Huntley's hardware store. Now I have to give equal time to the True Value hardware store. It says right here to do it. In the person of Paul Keel. Then after that we have the Aubuchon.
Maybe as some of you know, Lester White and I both do the same job, repair screens. And he helps us a lot, because after screens have been Lesterized, we repair them. And over the years, I found his friendship to be a great value. And as I touched on the trips around here. So to prove that he is a great value, a true value, here's what he needs.
Awfully like that.
Well, no, it's not my stock, actually.
About the same, the painful less.
Swiss Army knife.
We all make it blood, but heavenly blood.
No, you enjoy the value of his friendship, so he is a true value.
What do I do with that?
Let everybody know you're a true value.
We've heard from the town in the person of Jerry Duggan. We've heard from the House of Representatives in the person of Jim Maselli. Now to represent the other side of the aisle, as we say in politics, representing the State Senate, Mr. Bob Buell.
Harry, I have the toughest job. I'm the only one here, I think, in the hall that hasn't worked and known Lester White for all these last few years, like I've been hearing about. But I can tell how important he is by two things. Harry, he had at least double, triple the number of people at his time as what you had. And also, Jim Maselli didn't have another event to have to go to. Like our usual legislative delegation, you know, that was one of the first things I learned when I was in the House of Representatives and Senate, you know, you eat and run. And Lester, I'm really impressed. You know, most parents worry about their youngsters being hyperactive. Here you are at this stage of life. You are certainly an example of being hyperactive. It's to the benefit of all those, not only, I guess, in the Wilmington area, but in the whole vicinity. And so I'd like to give you something probably of equal value. The language is almost identical as that which Jim Maselli read off to you. But this one is from the State Senate, and it says, "Be it known, the Massachusetts Senate extends its congratulations to Lester White in recognition of being the recipient of the Good Guy of the Year in 1994. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success." And I got a good autograph for you, signed by a fellow named William M. Bulger. And it's offered by me, Robert C. Buell. And with that, you have a token that I have given to a number of recipients in past years. It goes with the blue. It's a Bob Buell Senate, and this may become a collector's item.
Senator Buell made one mistake. The fellow at the microphone has the last say. Senator Buell, by the way, is a senator who does not live in town. Jerry lives in town, Jim Maselli lives in town. And they're here every year, or Jerry or whoever's representing the town is here. Jim Maselli's always here because he lives in town. But Bob Buell does not. And Bob Buell has been here every year. He and his charming wife, Jean, every time they extended all the tickets. By the way, everybody comes to this hall and into this hall, including myself, Irene, pays for their ticket. Senator Buell is no exception. And we've kind of made fun of the Senate over the years, and in a very playful way. I gotta be careful up here. He has been giving out for years at the polls a comb that says Bob Buell, the senator, on it. And he has the audacity to give it to people like Les, as he just did now. This is a man who votes in our Senate. What judgment. But last year we pulled the tables on Senator Buell, and we presented a hymn to Senator Buell after he left. After he presented his comb, we presented one of our own, and it was a little bit larger. Now, I want to point out that this is the last year that Senator Buell will be presenting his comb as a senator because he has announced his retirement. So this is his last year representing the Senate here in town at the Good Guy Award. But I have a feeling he will be back. And so we wanted to say, Senator Buell, how much you enjoyed you being here. And I'd like, at this moment, if you would, to come up because we have something for you this year, Senator.
We have this empty cot.
Give these guys one job. There's a blown-up poster of Bob Buell being presented with a large comb. And we give him that as a souvenir, but we also want to give him something else for his desk.
Why won't be here?
This is again the picture he drew so he hang on his wall, and it says down here, we feel is a sincere presentation. It says, Senator Good Guy, and this is Bob Buell. Gene, you got a minute?
Harry, you know, that comb sits right on my desk at the State House. And people all come in and look at it and say, what's the symbol? Why is that here? And I tell them, it's through the generosity of this committee. They're very appreciative.
We're being good with a senator who's a lame duck. He can't help us next year at all. But his lovely wife, Jean, thank you very much. Good luck, Senator. Now another assignment I have. This is good, I mean, I have to read this by punishment of, if I leave this out, his friends and family insisted. This is a, I'll put on the real glasses. This is out of the town crier, somewhere between the years 1974 and 1978. It happened Monday afternoon about 4 o'clock. The tennis team was using the APCO courts in Lowell for practice. And this, by the way, has nothing to do with Les White. The aim of this committee is to entertain and to give news briefs, and this is a news brief. It has nothing to do with the recipients tonight. It was 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon at tennis courts outside of APCO. The local team was practicing. During the practice, some men from APCO Corps requested the team evacuate the courts. They did before long a strange boom came from the direction of the APCO building. This boom was immediately followed by a whoosh that wasn't a tennis ball. The missile flew past the tennis team about 75 feet away from them. It tore through the fence of the tennis court and landed right now where the town crier is located. At that time it was a building that was operated by Ann Fenton, who ran a real estate agency. The missile is described as a cylinder. This has nothing to do with Les, by the way. Because the government still has an APB out for anybody involved. The missile was described as a cylinder 5 inches long, 2 inches in diameter. It was fired by a compressed gas injector system. It was supposed to have hit a barricade erected on APCO property, but did not. It landed at the base of what is now the town crier. Well, that's the end of the news clip. What was interesting in history, had the town crier been there as it is now, no one would have thought much about a missile being shot at it. In fact, I'm sure the citizenry would have said, Mike McCoy has had enough. And speaking of Mike McCoy, his business is now up the street. That was not there. But imagine if it were, and this missile landed near Mike McCoy's place. The police would have arrested Bob Kane on the spot. So they have here is a little something to give Les, even though he had nothing to do with this, by the way. But I'm told that this is a hot potato. We know Les had nothing to do with it. No one wanted to present this. And since this is going to be on camera, they wouldn't shut it off on me. I have to make a presentation. Nothing works than this. Shut that camera off. Even though Les had nothing to do with this, I presented to him for some reason. Les, from the people of Ann Fenton's place, we want to give this to you. Do with it what you must. By the way, Les, one more thing. This is the actual flag that Ann Fenton waved after the first round. Ann has since left town. The next group speaking tonight was again a aforementioned group. It says right here, the Hot Rivets.
They're gonna sing.
No, they're not gonna sing. They're gonna do a tightrope act. They're gonna do something.
This church on Sunday morning is that when we have visitors, we like to pass around a little card that tells a little bit about the church and the hours of the service. So if you'd like to raise your hand, the visitors, I'd like to Somebody forget their glasses here? Well, we have one presentation we'd like to do for some friends of ours in the Hot Rivets. I'd like to read a little bit about it. It's in recognition of Les White's many accomplishments in the outdoorsmanship. The Hot Rivets are proud to present to him the one prize that has eluded him all of these years. You know, this is a treasure that Les has coveted since he touched off his first Citgo-assisted campfire. You know, it's remained a vision in his mind as he watched the dancing shadows of his neighboring campers produced on the tent wall by the blazing Coleman lantern. It was during Les's rookie years at Papoose Pond that he first glimpsed that fabled instrument. And by that magical moment, it was being wielded by the renowned camper, mentor, and limerick coach of the Northwoods. While there have been many imitations of this Forester's Excalibur, this is the very same tool for which Les has offered to trade his famous collection of Tanqueray bottle caps. Les was so impressed with the action of this tool that he went out and he bought this fella a brand new 3-foot axe. So therefore, Les, with great pleasure, we would like to present this award to you as our wagon master, or wagon master, as he prefers since his visit to Germany last September. And here it is. It's called the Tomahawk. We have another award from the Hot Rivets. It's in honor of you receiving the Good Guy Award. The Hot Rivets are naming you, Lester White, official wagon master. Okay, Lester? Okay. So we present to you this certificate, and again, congratulations. But there are some other things to go along with this.
We know Les is quite the camper. He thinks he's a camper anyway, driving around in his 22-foot air-conditioned trailer, 23-foot, sorry, air-conditioned trailer with all the amenities that one would need for roughing it. But we know he'll probably have that plaque in his camper, so in order to protect that dome of his, which he's always concerned about getting sunburned. And to let the rest of us know who he really is, we want him to have this so he can wear this with pride while we're out camping.
Okay, on the requirements and benefits of being a wagon master, one of the things you've got to do is that you've got to make sure that when you leave Wilmington, you've got to have a full tank of gas. You can't run out of gas 20 miles down the road. And of course, we all know that Les is a born leader. As you can see, people go in opposite directions. Now, if we'd have had a wagon master back about 15, 16 years ago, when a large group of us was going to New Hampshire, and everybody took 101 east except one couple. Now, it's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. And when they finally caught up to us, they come barreling in the campground, and that little truck and a high-low trailer arguing like hell, but we all made it through the weekend anyhow. This is the Bald Eagle rest stop. You know, we have to do our rest stops, and Les sees that happens. And of course, we all like to avoid the direct routes. You know, we always have to sightsee here. So we have a special package for you, Lester, that will help you in planning these trips in the future.
Well, we have two packages, Les, really. We know that when you finally get Barbara to retire and you're going to take off someplace, that we know how meticulous you are about directions, and you love to study the maps, and we're delayed here, we're delayed there, because he's looking at another map and checking out another route, and we always take the long way around. But we know when they do finally decide to set out on their adventures, the first place they will go, probably alone, will be to Rutland. And of course, they won't go to Rutland the direct route. They'll go every which way. And so we have here a few maps and direction finders that'll get them to Rutland. So here you go, Les. Just a few things to get you up to Rutland. And I'm sure within a couple of weeks you'll be in Rutland. But anyway, there's the rest. We know that after that trip, he'll have to take a more extensive trip. Where will he go? There's only one place that Les will go, and that's to Mexico. So he wants to get some Mexican food. He loves his Mexican food. If you know Les, and you know when we go camping, usually we come home from a camping trip and we're going to stop someplace to eat. Somehow, we always end up at a Mexican restaurant. You go there whether you like Mexican food or not. Right, George?
Everything's okay, right?
Everything's okay. George can have a burger, Harry can have a steak, but we eat Mexican. So Les, here's a few things to help you get down to good old Tijuana so you can find some Mexican food. We got some directions for you, and we got maps for you, and you can read all about it all the way to Mexico. And when you get there, have a heck of a good time.
And one of the other things that Les always makes sure of is he never runs out of Tanqueray. Now, one of the other great privileges about being wagon master, you have the opportunity to check out the facilities. The other great thing about being a wagon master is that you're always the last one to use the dump station. And of course, you should have told me again that you didn't like Mexican food.
We've had just about everything tonight. Poetry, music, less people, just pulled a disappearing act. Amazing. This program started off, and it is going to end on sometime. Started off with one son-in-law. He had some good things to say about Les. Let's try one of the other son-in-laws. All the way down from Maine, Les Markin. Russ?
Comfortable?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Whoa, wait a minute now. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Russ Markran. I'm married to Les's daughter, Nancy, which gives you some idea of how old he really must be. Nancy came to me about a month ago and said, they're going to have a dinner of some type for my father. Would you like to come take and say something? And I said, what kind of dinner? She said, well, I think they said something about a roast. I said, a what? A roast. A roast? I'd love to go speak about your father. I've been married to Nancy for almost 16 years, and there's been a dark, dark, dark white family secret. And I thought, boy, talk about a roast. Nancy, what's your father's middle name? None of your business. So I've been told that his middle name is forever going to be Lester Good Guy White. I can tell you a few things about Lester. I don't know him that well. I haven't known him for as long as I've been around. Long time. One of the things that I'll never forget is that when Nancy and I approached him almost 16 years ago, no, a little bit longer maybe, and said we're getting married, he almost fainted. He didn't know what to say except, no, you're not. When we finally convinced him that we were, he said, Russ, do me, please, one little favor. Please, Russ, don't ever, ever call me Dad. True story. Something more recent. I belong to a theater group up in Wells, Maine, and we put on 3 or 4 shows a year. And usually the cooks and Lester and Barbara come up to see one of the performances. A couple of months ago, I was in a play called A Bull in a China Shop. I don't know if it was named after him or not, but it could have been. But anyway, at the beginning, it was a comedy, but at the beginning of the play, there's a very serious monologue that I have to give in front of a curtain all by myself in the spotlight. And one of the lines I had to say was, I'm just an ordinary Irish cop. Detective First Class O'Finn, plainclothes, tasked the homicide division. And I'm 40 years old, for heaven's sake, and a bachelor besides. And I hear this roar from the audience in this very serious little speech. I look down, and who is it? I want to know what's so funny about being Irish. I don't know what you're laughing about. Another thing. Oh, I would guess this is probably 9 years ago. I was brought up on the water in Boston and down the Cape, and loved to swim, loved the water, had always wanted to do one thing in my life, never did it because I either couldn't afford it or didn't have the time. And that was go scuba diving. So I said at one point to Nancy, do you mind if I take us scuba diving? And she said, no, sounds like a good idea. It's something you want to do. So we were down at the White House, this one here in Wilmington, and I said, Les, I'm going to take up scuba diving. What do you think?
First he thinks you're crazy. After 3 gin and tonics, let's go scuba diving. I don't think Les really enjoyed himself. I think he hated it, really, but I'll give him a whole lot of credit. He got through it. He got certified to be a scuba diver. Now, my son Lucas has come to me, and he's got an idea. He wants Les and I to take up skydiving. My youngest boy, Derek, who's 12, couldn't be here tonight. He had a Little League game, and his grandfather always told him, if you're going to join a club or a team, you've got to support that team and be there. So, Derek sat down at the computer last night and wrote a letter for Lester. And here's what he wrote. He wrote, "Hi folks, my name is Derek, and I am Lester White's grandson. I am very sorry that I can't attend this glorious occasion, but I have to play in a very important baseball game, and I have decided to dedicate the game to my grandfather. You may be here because of all the things that my grandfather has done for the community, but I think he is great because of all the things he does for me. He can always make time for me, time to go to a water park, time to go to a museum, or just time to be together. Of all the things he does for me, the thing I like the most is just being with him." That's all wonderful, nice thoughts from a 12-year-old, but as I left, he said, "Dad, tell him, forget the water park, forget the museum, how about Disney World?" One last assignment I had tonight. This is something I had to do. I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know what it means. I am to present to Lester White tonight an award. It's a gardening award. I don't know anything more than that. I'm innocent of any shortcomings. I don't know who it's from. Why is it Lester? Just stand up, please. This is a piece of rhubarb on the St. It also says, second place prize to Lester White. That's all I can say. Lester, can you pick up on that, please? Oh, well, you can shake up.
Yes, I can. This is a case of sour grapes. Someone who lives on Shawshene Avenue, whose husband and brother-in-law are here, and sister-in-law here tonight. We have a little contest goes on about growing rhubarb. I presented her with this rhubarb because she wasn't sure what rhubarb looked like when it starts growing. And I picked this from my garden much earlier than hers and presented it to her. Right, Claire? So this is a little sour grapes. Not rhubarb. Yes, it's rhubarb, but it's sour grapes. What? Yeah, yes.
Sit down. No, I'm not doing it. There's another group to be heard from, Lester. And this is the outreach program, the feeding group, pantry group, that feeds the hungry yellow wolf. Mr. Belvin, Mr. St. Orange. Are they here? Yeah, and back. They got the same type seats the Elkoning Senator had in the back of the room.
Let me get my glasses on. Check this out here. Ann and I only have a half an hour. She
change the subject a little bit, I'd like to say a little joke I saw. Sergeant Rooney over there reminded me of a joke. This fellow was speeding up Route 93 at about 75 miles an hour. All of a sudden, the blue lights come on, sirens, and the lights are blinking. Car comes right up behind him. He steps on the gas a little more, go a little faster. State police stayed right behind him. After a while, he steps on the gas a little further. Finally, the cop gets around him, turns him off. Cop gets out. Hey, buddy, what's the story? Don't you know the state police are going to stop you? You're going too fast. The fellow says, 1 minute. He says, I got a problem. My wife ran away with a state cop 2 years ago, and I thought you were bringing her back. One moment, I have a Boy Scout knot on this thing here. As you probably know, Lester has worked in various areas. One of his great areas is cooking. He has cooked for more people than any one person I know about that isn't commercially employed. And what he has done is he specializes in various things. If I can find the opening in the bag, one of his great specialties is beans. So we made a special apron for Lester. It says over 1 million beans served. Lester. He likes monogram things, you know. Oh, yeah.
Well, to go along with his apron, when we prepare meals at church, Les is always the one in charge. And over the last probably 10 or 12 years, we've tried to figure out how many meals we've served, and probably it's well over 10,000 meals that he's served. And since he's the one that's in charge, we figured that we should make it official and give him a chef's hat. So.
One of the special meals that Les works on is the chicken barbecue. And Les has his own concoction for marinating the chicken. You know, it's vinegar and oil and certain. But we've been getting a lot of complaints that chicken is rather flat, very little taste. So I'm suggesting to Lester that he try the next time a little wine vinegar. And, wait a minute, there's one other thing. We've got something to help you. We want you to stretch the chicken.
Now, one of the other meals that we prepare is a turkey dinner for a fundraiser. And last year, when Les and Harry were working on cutting up and slicing the turkey, they also, at least Les, sliced his fingers a few times. So when I came in, he had Band-Aids all over his hands. So we decided that we'd get him a new supply of Band-Aids, either Beauty and the Beast Band-Aids, for next year's turkey dinner. Almost forgot. I don't think that Les knows
knows, but the town of Wilmington is going to be celebrating their 265th birthday in 1995. And Les has been asked to prepare the baked beans. He's got the apron, he might as well prepare the beans. So, as usual, I've helped along with this, and I've got a recipe for him that's called baked beans for a crowd, because we figure everyone in Wilmington will come. So this should serve about 18,000 people, 19,000. I'll read part of it since the evening is getting a little on the late side. 3,600 pounds of dry beans, 720 pints of molasses, 180 pounds of brown sugar, 360 tablespoons of black pepper, 2,700 small onions, 540 pints of ketchup, 400 tablespoons of salt, 540 pounds of salt pork. Now, we don't know where he's going to come up with 1,440 crock pots for these beans, but we figure all of you will supply those for him. So here's his recipe.
You know, Lester is very frugal, in case you know. In fact, I think Frugal Fanny had to ask him if they could use his name when they opened the store down there. What Les does is, well, he does a lot of things, but he knows that I'm in the plumbing and heating supply business, and he's always angling for something or an answer to a question, or how can you fix this, or what do you do with that? I got a real kick out of him the other day when he came down and said he drilled a hole through the pipe in the bottom of in the church and flooded the floor. But he's always looking for something for less to help someone out. So I have collected a real fine array of plumbing parts. These, some of them are slightly used, Lester. You have an old tub, you need a faucet, I have it. Well, Lester has it now. He can work commercially or domestically because I have parts here for flushometers. He's also good on oil burners. I have parts for oil burners, Lester. So you'll never have to bother me again. I want to present you with a bag of good.
As has been mentioned earlier tonight, Les has done a lot to help feed the hungry. And every week he takes some things that have been contributed to our church to one of the local food pantries. Well, Bob tells me that they found a very needy family down in Coventry, Rhode Island. And we know Les doesn't mind traveling, so we've got a bag of groceries. We'll leave it right in there, Les. Okay? We've got a bag of groceries for him to take to this needy family.
Just one quick thing on a closing note. I just want to say that I no longer live in Wilmington, but most of my friends are here, and I think that this town should be very proud of people like Les White and all the good guys in town. It's really nice that a town can get together like this and as friends recognize a person or persons that done more for anyone else than. I think it's a real outstanding evening, and I appreciate the opportunity of being here and honoring Les tonight. Thank you.
We have two more speakers, one being the good guy Tom Bazell, who last year presenting Les with the plaque, and the last one being Les White himself. I want to comment that Mr. Belvin, two things I picked up about him. One, he doesn't live in town. And the second, he has a death wish. To say Sergeant Mooney reminded him of a joke. You're not getting out of this town alive. We a piece. I'm sorry, there's one award we did forget, and I didn't have it written down here. It's the Fish Award. It's going to be presented to Les. Yes, come on up. And your name is, I'm sorry,
Lynn Bissett.
Lynn Bissett. How are you getting home today, Lynn? It's my sister, not my wife. Lynn, I'm sorry, but today was I have you listed. I'm not perfect.
I thought you
Have to move up.
Okay, probably second prize. About 20 years ago, in fact, it's a little bit better than 20 years ago, there was an incredible organization in this town, and it was the Fish. A lot of you know about this organization, and perhaps some of you don't, so I'll give you a little brief overview of it. It was an organization that was started by Les and some of his contemporaries at the time by going from church to church in town, enlisting people to help out other people. And what they did as a result of this was to get together probably 200, 250, maybe more people who were a complete cross-section of everything that you could do for another human being. There were people who answered telephones, there were people who drove, there were people who would come and construct handicap ramps or shovel snow or just do anything. And all of this help was available just through making a phone call. It was a very remarkable organization. I ended up using the services of this organization and becoming involved in it. They did help me out with a problem I had. In fact, I had to have my feet operated on, and I had a 9-month-old baby. And they helped me take care of my baby during my recuperation period. So as a result of this, I became involved in the organization and spent a couple of years on the steering committee for it. Les was always there. He was always there to call, to get help from, to find out who you could call to get a specific thing done, as well as going and speaking before groups and getting more people involved. It didn't go on for as long as it should have. It was probably in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 years that it was a viable, strong organization. And the gas crunch of the time kind of led to its demise, as did women going back to work and that type of thing. But it was truly a situation where there was people helping people. As a tribute to Les, I would like the people who are in this room who have ever been involved with the Fish organization, would you mind standing up and letting him know that you were? That's not too bad for an organization that's over 20 years old, is it? Les, I'd like to present you with this. This is something that I hope you'll think of us when you look at it. It's a plaque. Congratulations. And Les is more.
Again, I apologize. Thanks, George. You gave me the list. That's the best line of the night. Less is more. Excellent. Representing the good guys of Wilmington, the former good guy from last year, the little Polish guy. He's not long on brains, but he himself is deep down is a good guy. I got to tell you a funny story about that fence we brought down from Africa. Tom was on the committee. We said we needed a replica, something to present to Les tonight. And Tom said, "Hey, Mr. Cunningham, you want me to go get the tennis court?" It is true. He is poet. Here's Tom Bizzarra.
I never met Les before this evening. I can't believe I've lived here 22 years and I've never met this man.
by the way, thank you for stealing my line. I was going to do the shtick where little kids always want the biggest gift at Christmas, and we try to tell them the smallest things can possibly be the best things, and less can be more. So there goes my line for the evening. I can't believe this evening. This is the best, believe me. And that water pistol thing. I have no shtick left. Although the Reverend has proved that poetry can be fun, even though it doesn't necessarily rhyme. Is he laughing? I haven't prepared anything, but I am so I'm so glad to welcome this man to our ranks. We're trying to upgrade our crowd. I started it. Is the guy from Maine laughing? Nice t-shirts, guys. Listen, it's getting real late. Believe me, I'm telling you, this is the best one. And it's going to get better, because this is the man who's going to chair this thing next year. I have the official committee plaque, and it reads very simply, and all of us, all good guys have this plaque. Wilmington Good Guy Award, Lester White, May 13th, 1994. Listen, a standing O for the good guy, 1994, Mr. Lester White.
Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to announce and welcome to the podium the good guy from 1994, Mr. Lester White.
Probably have never known me to be at loss for words, and tonight is no exception. I obviously have not had time to prepare this because I really did not know this was happening. Until I walked up the driveway and saw Les Peabody's truck, and I saw the people from Habitat for Humanity for Greater Lowell walking up in front of me, so I said, come on, guys. There's something screwy here. There isn't much that I can say that would tell you how I feel about, without tears coming to my eyes, which will anyway, tell you how I feel about having this group of people doing this for me in the town of Wilmington. There aren't any words that would express it. The gifts that I've gotten tonight are very useful. Nellie, I think this will fit your bathtub. Nellie, I think, is Nellie gone home? Yeah. Oh. I was going to say that Nellie is one, and I think it was reported in the paper some time ago, that I know more about her plumbing than any of us she knows. And I said that she should have, when she said that, when she told the reporter that, she should have said, naturally, he's not a gynecologist. But, sorry, George. But it's very difficult for me to stand up here and tell you how I feel. But I'm going to try. This town and this church, the Wilmington Methodist Church, and probably you'll never have another Methodist good guy, right? Because you won't allow it.
We can't stand another poll.
But to have my pastor write a poem home about me, to have the choir, even tonight, and Carolyn Stanhope, I'm sure, wrote that. No? Al Woodbury wrote that? I'll get you. It just boggles my mind and really does take the words out of my mouth. But this town and this, my church, the Methodist Church, have been so good to me in affording me the opportunities that it has to do whatever it is that I do. Because without the people in the town and the people in my church, they never would have stood for me. They've nurtured me through the learning experience of how to run meetings and to speak in public but just give me the opportunity. The people in the town, Nellie and some of the rest, have given me the opportunity to be of service. And that, to me, is one of the greatest pleasures of my life. You may be hard to believe, but that's exactly where I come from. There is nothing that gives me greater pleasure than to help somebody else. And that's from the bottom of my heart. So, what else can I say that would thank you all for being here, for spending all of this money that you've had to spend? And incidentally, I asked if Barbara and I could get our money back. I think that's only fair. Because we were brought here under false pretense. At least I was. Barbara, of course, is in on it.
Check the bag later.
I am really sorry that May Bliss isn't here, because I really thought that that's the story they told me, that this was going to be for May Bliss. I would have, if she had been here, I would have felt badly about taking this award thing away from her, because she certainly deserved it with all of the service she's given to this town. So in one sense, I'm sorry she's not here, but in another sense, I'm sort of glad, because I would be embarrassed. And I mean it, I would have been embarrassed. But I want to thank all of you, except Harry, for everything you've done for me tonight, for everything you've said, almost everything you've said, the true things. And the gifts that you've given me, and that the warmth and the love, the affection, and your presence here means more to me than I'll ever be able to say. Thank you very much.
I did vote for May Bliss myself. And there will never, ever, ever, as long as I'm associated with this committee, be another Methodist receive this award. And the last thing I want to say is there is going to be a good guy picture taken of all the good guys with the newest representative here. It's going to be taken someplace in the hall, so if you stay around. And for everybody else, on behalf of Lester White, his family, the Good Guy Committee, thanks a million for being here. And more importantly, time out, we have questions.
You never let me do anything. We do have one more gift. Except for the head table and you, Harry, we have tried to collect the signatures of everybody who was here tonight, so that we can present it to Lester.
Well, that's the biggest thorn on my side.
Don't you dare.
Irene, are you all set?
I don't know whether I am or not unless you repeat what you just said.
I said you all set.
No, I mean before that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming tonight. Have a good night. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
WCTV Incorporated is not responsible for the content, views, or opinions expressed in the preceding program, which was created by an independent producer.